Before we ever spend a dollar on marketing, I need to tell you something you probably won't like. Most contractors are not ready to market their business. And I don't mean their videos aren't good enough or their Instagram doesn't look quite the way it should. I mean the business itself. The way it runs day to day would actually collapse under the weight of the attention that they actually want. And if that's true, everything else I teach you in the next 3 videos will just fail. So here's the principle underneath all of it. Marketing is just an amplifier. It doesn't change what your business is. It takes whatever your business already is and turns the volume up. If your business is clean, you get back to leads immediately, and jobs finish on schedule, a client feels taken care of, the amplifier makes you a lot of money. More good people see a good thing. But if it's a mess behind the scenes, the amplifier shows people the mess, but faster, louder, and in public. Remember from the first video, your customer is a stage 5 customer, burned, skeptical, and deaf to claims. The entire point of the word of mouth machine is to do the one thing that still works for that customer, earn their trust before they ever call. Now imagine the machine working properly. A homeowner watches your content, they see your face a couple times, they hear your clients vouch for you, and the trust actually transfers. They actually pick up the phone, pre-sold and ready to sign, exactly like a referral. And then no one calls them back for 3 days. You didn't just lose that lead, you took the hardest thing in the world to build trust from a stage 5 customer, be that, and you torched it. You just threw it out the window, basically. That homeowner doesn't think, they must be busy. They think, I knew it. They're all the same. And worse than that, they say it out loud to a neighbor, to a relative, to someone else looking to build. Bad operations don't just cost you the job, they manufacture skepticism for the next contractor, and he has to fight through that. The amplifier turned up and pointed at a broken business makes you part of the problem. So before you build the machine, you have to pressure test the business. This is exactly what we do on our discovery calls. We show businesses where they'll actually break before it actually does, because I see the same thing all day long, and it might not be where you think. So for example, a contractor tells me he needs more leads. So we look and it turns out he already gets leads. They come in, but they just sit there. He doesn't call them back for 3 days because he's buried in work. And by the time he does, the homeowner has already hired the guy who actually answered the phone. He doesn't have a lead problem. He has a follow-up problem, a speed problem. This is why more leads make a broken business worse, not better. More leads into a leaky bucket means more homeowners who reached out, got silence, and walked away with a worse opinion of you than if they'd never reached out in the first place. You paid good money to disappoint people at scale. And speed isn't a small detail here. With a stage 5 customer, speed equals trust. Think about it from the homeowner's angle. They've heard every contractor promise and they don't believe any of it, but they reach out to you anyway. If you're on the phone within 5 minutes, you just proved your claim instead of making it. That's a stage 5 marketing operation brought to life. The fastest callback in the market feels like the most trustworthy builder in the market. For example, I want you to think about your own car. If you needed it fixed today to get to work, to get to a job site, and you called a shop and they didn't answer, what would you do? You'd call the next shop because you need your car. And whoever moves to get your car fixed the fastest gets that job. In marketing, we call this speed to lead. When the next mechanic answers, wants to fit you in today, and has your car running by noon, you're going with that guy. Why? Because he answered. Simple. So why does a contractor's follow-up break the same way every time? Most likely because you're the bottleneck. Every problem in your business rolls uphill to you. A sub no-shows, they call you. Materials come in over budget, they call you. A client wants a change order, they call you. An inspector flags something, your team calls you. The whole day gets eaten up by answering questions other people could have handled themselves. And if you don't have people in those positions, marketing your business is going to be harder. But I get it. You have to build both at the same time. To afford employees, you need more business. That is exactly why you build them together. If you already have that, good for you. But if you run a business that can't run without you, it's not a business. It's a job you realistically just can't quit. And it's a business that physically cannot grow because you are the ceiling. Every job runs through your brain. Marketing cannot fix that. Marketing just pushes more demand against a ceiling that doesn't move. So how do you get out of this bottleneck? The fix, it might be a little bit simpler than you might think. And no, it's not hire more people. It's changing one rule about how your team talks to you. Your team's job is not to bring you problems, it's to bring you decisions. This is what marketers call the 6-inch putt problem. In golf, when your ball is 6 inches from the hole, you literally just need to tap it in. You can't miss. We need to create that here. Nobody on your team should ever hand you a problem from 200 yards out. For example, a project manager calls you and they say, hey, a sub didn't show up today. What do I do? That is zero problem thinking done. You have to gather the facts, weigh the options, and make a call and communicate it. They did nothing. You did all the work. Now here's the same thing with the 6-inch putt mindset. Your project manager calls, hey, the framing sub no-showed today in Glendale. I already called him. He's booked till Thursday. 2 options. I pull Marcus off the Pasadena job for 2 days, or I bring in Sun Valley for 900 more. I'd pull Marcus. The Pasadena client is flexible, so I checked. But I just need your okay. All you have to do is say yes. Tap it in. 4 seconds instead of 40 minutes. Now, one conversation can install this into your team. You sit down with them and you say, from now on, don't bring me problems, bring me the options and your recommendation. I'll make the call from there. That's it. And if you want a specifically broken down version of this, there'll be a link you can download the 6-inch putt mindset below. And I'll be honest with you, the first week is a little bit rough. You do need to reinforce this with your team. The second week is definitely a lot better. And by the third week, your phone will go quiet and your day will open up so you can actually reach out to your leads and actually run your business. So now you can see the bottleneck and the leaky bucket are the same problem. Fix the bottleneck and the bucket seals itself. All right, so let's answer a few questions to figure out where you actually stand. Question number 1, how long do leads actually sit waiting for you to answer? If it's longer than an hour, content will not save you. It'll just generate more leads for you to ghost and turn warm homeowners into cold horror stories. Question number 2, are you past schedule on every job? If yes, content will not save you. It'll put your mess on a bigger stage in front of a stage 5 audience that was looking for one more reason not to trust you. Final question number 3, are you the only brain on a job site? If yes, content won't save you. The machine needs hours you just don't have. But if you answered no to all 3 of these, if your follow-up is fast, your jobs run clean, and your team brings you 6-inch putts instead of problems, then you're sitting on something very rare, a business that deserves attention in a market where no one's earning it. Congratulations to you. You're one of the few owners with a real business. This is the part where we diagnose before we ever pick up a camera. We need to know how the leads come in, how fast to respond, and whether a business can actually carry demand. And if you're not ready, we'll tell you how to fix it. So if you think you might be ready, you can apply below for the discovery call, and we'll show you where you actually stand. Now, even with all this handled, the business runs clean, leads get called in minutes, and your team brings you putts. You can still lose. You can still lose every bid, every week, even to worse builders with a perfectly run company. And it all comes from one question a homeowner or GC asks, why you? And why not the other guy who quoted me 12 grand less? If your only answer is, we do quality work, you already know what happens to that claim. It gets discounted to 0. So next video, we're going to talk about your offer. I'm going to show you why you probably don't even have one and how to build one for a homeowner or a GC so they can't compare you with anyone else. That's video number 2, and I will see you there.